But Kamala Harris would be just the opposite. Why? Because she's an inspiration. Not only is she positive, and does she bring hope and optimism, but as a black woman, the product of a mixed marriage, she will inspire millions of people throughout the world. Our credibility as a nation, that we would be able to allow, our country is so great that we're allowed a woman like that to become the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States. That is going to send a powerful message all over the world. People like Vladimir Putin are going to say, hey, wait a minute. These guys, they truly have a democratic country. They truly are representative. They truly are fighting for all their people. And Kamala Harris is a manifestation of that.
We're going to be okay. I love you. Both of you.
We love you too.
Kamala Harris! After much self-reflection, I have come to the realization that there is one thing very Indian about you, and that is that you became the Democratic nominee without a single vote. Bitch, you pulled the biggest scam of all time. No Indian I know, from the call centers to email phishing, no Indian I know has scammed 250 million people. Not bad, Kamala. That's pretty good numbers.
They're eating the cats. They're eating
animals, but they're eating humans. There's cannibalism in Haiti going on all the time. I have videos on my phone of people eating other people and sacrificing other people. And so no one can tell me that this doesn't happen, because my orphanages and the Christian organizations that I support on the ground are dealing with this mess in country. So what makes you think that when gangsters go into the country of Haiti and literally release their prisoners, they emptied their prisons in Haiti, and these same people are coming across our border and now they're ending up in our cities and our towns? No one can deny that. That's a fact. I've been working in Haiti for 15 years. And so I just wish that we could get some voices, some real voices to support President Trump and support what's going on in our country, that know what's happening on the ground. And I'm willing to do it. And so we can't let President Trump just sit out there just like a wounded duck and get just massacred by this liberal leftist media.
My goodness.
Today, I'm here to do something that some may think or believe is unheard of. Yes, the news reports are correct. I, Gavin Newsome, am here to endorse none other than Donald J. Trump for President of the United States. Trump's got this knack for making America the center of attention, whether it's on Twitter or on the global stage. He's like that friend who always has the best stories at dinner. Who wouldn't want that kind of energy? But seriously, in this endorsement, I see an opportunity for dialogue, for understanding, for maybe finding common ground. Trump is hands down the best candidate in this race. Because if there's one thing I've learned in politics, it's that sometimes you've got to dance with the one who brought you, or in this case, the one who's brought the most entertainment. Trump, 2024.
There are a lot of deepfakes out there. There's not a lot of disclosure. There's not a lot of labeling. So among the many AI bills that are on the desk are three specific election-related bills.
And then you want to sign some laws?
I just thought, why waste your time with a politician unless they're going to do something for you?
There's two are signed, and three are signed.
And this is now official. That is now injunctive relief if you do any of those deepfake election misrepresentations. So that's how easy it is to govern in California.
Our time is too short, and our wisdom is too limited.
All right, listen to this historic move. The Teamsters announced they will not endorse a candidate for president, making Kamala Harris the first Democrat since 1996 not to get the union's backing. And New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is not happy about it.
I'm very disappointed in Sean O'Brien's leadership. I have found it increasingly alarming all year. When the Teamsters are in trouble, who do they call? When we need to make sure that Teamsters pensions are bailed out, when we need to make sure that they have a fair shake at the negotiating table with rail, it was Sean O'Brien calling Democrats for help.
I look at AOC, what an incredibly successful politician she is, and what a horrific manager she is. Her jurisdiction looks like a third world country. And yet she's great at social media and making outrageous statements and getting $5 at a time on, every way she can on social. Good for her.
Teamsters, I know you can't talk about the endorsement specifically, but the union also put out its internal polling that showed that there was a pretty wide margin of rank and file membership that supported former President Donald Trump. To what extent is that a referendum on the work of this administration?
Look, I'm not going to speak to their poll. I'm not going to speak to the rank and file. Look, it is. We're talking about a 2024, obviously, an election that is just a few weeks away. I can't speak to that. I can't speak to their decision to endorse, not endorse. I guess in this case.
In San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. Fentanyl is another issue. The San Diego area sees between 80 and 90% of the methamphetamine and fentanyl seizures annually for our entire country. With little enforcement at the border, these drugs were coming through in mass. During my last year in San Diego, the price for a single pill of fentanyl, for example, went from $10 to 25 cents. To make matters worse, during 2022 and 23, I had to shut down San Diego traffic checkpoints, which are critical for drug interdiction, because the resources had been diverted to the process and release mission. The large numbers also had and still have a negative impact on the San Diego community. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas. Each flight cost approximately $150,000. This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis.
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country, because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy.
So this is before, right when the pandemic was striking. I mean, look, you had home loans at 3.5%. I mean, right? Car loans, 5.2%. Credit card interest rates, which are always terrible. Look at where they are today. So the idea of the Fed cutting interest rates would be these numbers would start to come down. You can see mortgage rates have already been falling in anticipation of the Fed cutting rates. They'll likely continue to fall. A lot of really smart people I know say you're going to have a 5 number there sometime maybe early next year or even late this year. So for those people who are looking to buy a home, if you can find one in this tight housing market, or trying to refinance more likely, if you've recently bought, that's going to be the first place you're going to see the effects of lower interest rates.
So how bad did things get? Do you have numbers for, because we talk so much about how, I just said it a second ago, how expensive it is to go to the grocery store. We know gas prices are falling, which is great. So tell us about what we saw in the improvements.
I mean, when you look at the vibe session, people feeling terrible about the economy, this is why. You had housing inflation, 8%. Gas prices at the worst were up 41%.
Let me tell you guys about I have a plan. I have an incredible plan to lower inflation. If you elect me, inflation is gone.
There's an old anti-Semitic blood libel about Jews poisoning the wells, and this libel mutates itself throughout history, like the Blois incident in 1171, where Jews were falsely accused of poisoning the river and 31 Jews were murdered, and it gained significant traction during the Black Death, where Jews were accused of poisoning water sources to spread the plague. The obvious purpose of this libel is to spread the lie that Jews want to kill everyone, and laid the groundwork for later accusations that would follow all the way to today, in 2024, after Israel's targeted attack.
Fuck off.